The dark Caribbean is a place of splendor and doom. Once bright colonies now crumble under storms that never cease. The dead don't stay buried here. Barnacled corpses drag themselves from the surf, their empty eyes fixed on the living. Ships vanish into sudden fog, only to return as floating carcasses crewed by skeletal hands. This is no party of heroes. This is a ragged crew aboard a battered sloop, hungry for coin and treasure. There is no glory to their names, only debts, bad luck, and the faint stench of desperation. But in the dark Caribbean, not all who sail these waters are what they seem.
You are under attack. There is a
great
deafening shatter as a cannonball makes contact with the hull of your slutty little sloop.
Which side did you say?
I just said the hull. Let's say port side.
Attack on the port side!
Which one's that again?
The one with the hole.
A brigantine, which is a ship a bit bigger than yours, two-masted, has come up alongside you and taken fire for reasons you as yet do not know. I'm going to roll a d6 for the other ship. I need our captain to roll a d6 plus your ship's agility.
Get him, Captain!
Captain.
Make him pay! Or tell us to run away. Both are valid.
Oh, you're so fucked.
The cannon fire blasts into the hull of our slutty little sloop, and Captain Hellion McCreed doubles over with the shock of it and says, "To arms, crew!" And races up towards the wheel.
To arms!
That's a 6 plus 2 for an 8 for the sloop.
Oh, I got a 6 plus 1, so your ship takes the first action. Although I will say, because of reasons, you've already taken fire, and you're gonna knock, let's see, knock 6 points off your ship's hit points.
Okay.
That's rude.
And now for round 1. Captain, what do we see as you command your vessel?
Hellion McCreed stands at the wheel of the slutty little sloop. He is tall, gaunt, a little frail, but still strikingly beautiful, with sharp cheekbones and a well-squared jaw. He has long, dark hair, big, dark eyes, and though he's dressed in stinking rags, he does bear this sort of, captainly grace and majesty somehow. What everyone would know about Hellion from getting within 10 feet of him is that the man reeks of brimstone, of a sulfurous, smoky smell that seems to follow him no matter how much he tries to scrub it away. The other thing people might notice if they got close enough to Hellion is a strange brass doodad hanging on a chain around his neck that from time to time he is compelled to fiddle with.
Yeah, Captain, how much would you like to move?
We don't have a visual of the ocean here, but I want to, we're assumingly still sailing forward. I want to kind of turn a bit in a starboard direction to try to minimize the amount of broadside exposed to this brigantine. And then I will order Dandyshanks and Zappy just to open fire with the broadside cannons and return hostilities. Also, if we can see what kind of flag they're flying, that might give us a clue of what their intentions are, if they're making any kind of signal or gesture. But they could just be like a Jolly Roger and they're trying to out-pirate us, but we're faster.
I'd say for free, you can see that they're not flying the flag of any particular empire. They look like free merchants, and they're not flying a pirate flag. So there are a couple of reasons they could be firing on you. Maybe they're short on supplies and have decided to give piracy a try. Maybe they've mistaken you for someone else. Maybe, this is not uncommon, maybe they're short on crew and they've decided you're a smaller ship and maybe they can just kind of absorb you.
You worked hard for stealing this ship, mates. So fight for what's yours.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Fire the broadsides!
Dandyshanks, are you firing? Or are you just telling Zappy to?
I've got -1. What have you got, Zappy?
Oh,
for
I've got
presents?
0. Got 0. All right, I'll do it. Never mind. Dandyshanks, you sit down.
Zappy, as you rush to follow your captain's orders, what do we see?
Zappy Morlamont, but just Zappy, is a rapscallion burglar. They've got kind of super pale, almost bluish skin. Weird for a sailor, but especially as they're like undoing the knots and pulling the rigging, they get a little bit bluer. Their shoulders get a little bit broader. They're bald, completely bald. No eyebrows either, but a disgusting little patch of hair right under their chin that always looks like wiry and like it's been electrocuted. So always disheveled and sticking out in all directions. They've got a cutlass and a bucket to their name, otherwise dressed in rags. And for when you get close to them, you notice that they have a kind of wet sheen across their skin at all times. Kind of not wet to the touch, but just kind of damp. Glowing if they were as beautiful as Hellion, but as it stands, just damp. So it's a d20 plus presence, so 0. 13!
Oh my god, you got him!
With myself, I'm terrified.
Okay, so you're going to roll a d6 to see how much damage you do.
Roll a
No, you could do Zappy.
6!
Now I
Suck
roll a
it!
d4 because they have a armored hull.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Well,
It's a 1, so
Yeah,
they take
it
5 points of damage.
Okay.
yeah. You fire on us, we fire on you.
Married that one. It's a good call.
Yeah. I turn a little bit more yellow.
Dandyshanks, as you race to defend your ship, what do we see?
You see a man in a mismatch of fancy clothes. He's got a grand but grimy long coat on that absolutely mismatches a far too small, probably children's vest, and a grimy, very flouncy shirt. Cutlass by his side, and he's, other than his fancy clothes, he's quite an average looking fellow, but he's got brown hair, brown eyes, and a magnificent, kind of crinkly, flouncy hat with a beautiful, a bit grimy feather sticking out of it. And he's got his satchel hanging off him that's got a medical kit from his past life, where he was a doctor, though not a very good.
Dandyshanks, what are you up to?
Fire the small arms? Full attack mode.
Great,
I've got -1 presence.
great.
You can do it, my husband. You can do anything.
I got a 6.
Oh.
Okay,
I
well,
used to wear glasses.
describe to me what a 6 looks like when you fire the small arms.
Oh, it's me slightly distracted by my coat caught on like a rigging as I squint and try to fire at the same time, while not exactly paying attention to what I'm doing because I'm doing the thing. If I do it well, I don't care really. Bang bang. 6.
Okay, well, you fire wildly as the mounted gun spins with you as you spin to prevent your coat, your precious coat, from being torn. And
Gwendolyn!
the shot just goes into the air. You worry for a moment it'll come right back down, but it splashes into the sea.
Dandy! What are you aiming at? The ship's right there!
Did I not hit it? I was trying!
Windows.
This ship seems confident in its ability to take this smaller sloop, so they're going full broadside, not trying to protect their hull at all, and they are going to fire broadsides at you. 13, they hit. So it's a 6 minus 2, so you're going to take 4 more damage. That is the only action they take. They don't seem to do anything else. And you have time to do something else, which is weird. They should have had time to do more.
Mm-hmm.
So something's going on there.
Are we close enough to like see anyone on board? Like get a sense of their vibe, what colors they're
Yeah,
wearing?
you're not terribly far away. If you take the time to like try to figure out what they're doing, you will see someone yell from their ship, "Lay down your arms and prepare to be boarded."
I don't like that.
What if we could take them in closer combat, though? We can't risk the slutty little sloop.
We get known as the people who let anyone board Slutty.
I should think Slutty would let anyone board her based
Don't
on
talk about Slutty like that. Slutty's
Yeah.
a respectable lady.
discerning.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Right, so it's going to go back to their turn if somebody doesn't do something soon. I'm going to say Captain.
Zappy, get on these sails now.
Oh, we're
Quit your
running.
gibbering.
Oh, all right. You don't have to have an attitude about it. Fine. I will drop the sails, full sail. What's the DC for any of this? DR, excuse me.
12.
DR is almost always 12.
Great. That's an 8 plus all the stuff you just
Plus
said.
7, so
So 15. I'm slipping those knots, dropping those sails. Off we go.
the ship almost lurches forward like a weird wooden speedboat and starts almost skipping across the relatively shallow waters of the sea you're within.
Dandy, how about a parting shot?
Dandyshanks is quite concerned about his clothes down below, but he'll compromise his values and give a. Are they? Can we hit them with broadsides if we try to fire broadsides? Are they in?
I'm going to say yes.
All right. Dandyshanks is going to give broadsides a try because small arms was such a great success.
Give him the slutty broadside.
The slutty broadside. I rolled a 15 and I've got -1 present, so I got a 14. And then -1 for the ship, right?
Yep, but it's still 13. Okay, can you roll me a D6?
5.
I'm gonna roll a D4 because they still have some armor left. 2, so they take 3 more points of damage.
Maybe we should consider getting a brigantine. Is that what it was called?
It's the type of ship is brigantine.
Right.
The name, if you
Oh yeah.
whip out a
the name?
spyglass and take a quick look, it's called the Crimson Tempest. And it does look like, if you're looking through a spyglass, you'll see it's just a merchant ship, and there are maybe 7 people on deck. So unless there are more below, they are severely under-crewed. So that's why they're not able to do much, and it's a good bet that is why they wanted to board. Press gangs are an extremely common way of crewing a vessel around here. The sloop is faster than the brigantine, but you're not that far away yet. They're going to take another shot just to see if they can. So they're going to do a...
Hold fast, mates. We're almost free of them. I'm lying.
They only rolled an 11. They miss. Cannon fire flies directly overhead. Like, it's a minor miracle that it doesn't hit a mast.
Seems like it would be a big miracle if they did hit a mast.
Seems like they can't hit the broadside of a sloop.
Funny, not just good looking.
And their ship's name's the Crimson Tempest. That's like
A bit melodramatic, wouldn't you
right,
say? Unlike our good name, which is
right.
Slutty Little Sloop, the name, the full
Of
name.
course.
Right, of course.
Of course. Yeah, you can see when you boarded the ship, there were like a bunch of packed pieces of wood out the side of the ship and like carved into the
Oh, God.
slutty little sloop. It took most of the ride to the port where we met you for me to do that.
Font gets like smaller as it goes along.
Yeah,
You just got
yeah.
tired.
Yeah, totally.
So this is now a race, but it's a race you're winning. You've pulled away enough and you turned in such a way that they can't fire with broadsides anymore, and you quickly are out of range of the small arms. You are the nearest port is Black Coral Bay and Coral Town. It is your best bet for scaring off a ship attempting to capture you, because they're not going to do that like in the bay.
Right.
I mean, there's not a lot of law and order around here, but the people wouldn't stand for that level of violence and chaos in the middle of the bay. So that's your best bet if you're looking to shake them off.
Yeah, we could shake them, we could lose them. I still kind of think we could take them. There's only 7. Oh, you know what? Never mind. That's one of my unlucky numbers. No, we have to go.
As you sail into Black Coral Bay, the other ship, the Crimson Tempest, does slow up and seem to pull away, as if they've given up once you've reached the relative safety of the bay, and are probably choosing not to dock at this port at this particular moment.
Are we We're not flying like a pirate flag or anything, right? Just making sure.
Are you?
Probably not when we sail into ports.
Not this port. There are a couple of ports where you'd actually have to fly that flag to dock, but not this one.
Oh.
What do we know about Coral Bay and Coral Town?
You've probably been here before. Frankly, there just aren't a lot of port towns. There's like a handful in the Dark Caribbean. So you've been here before, but it's kind of a shitty little town. It is rumored to be cursed, which you would write off, except you live in a world that is cursed. So it is somewhat infamous for having the worst possible version of this scourge that has fallen upon the world. Things that die in Black Coral Bay don't stay dead. Like, more than usual. You have to kill things at least twice in Black Coral Bay, because whatever dies is reanimated as a zombie at sunset. So you kill something for dinner, you cook it, and you're in the middle of eating it, and then the sun goes down and you have to kill it again to continue eating it.
Unbelievable.
Welcome to Coral Town. You know, it's ruled by a sort of semi-absent governor who mostly enjoys staying in his mansion. And that people here are a little odd.
You don't have to be crazy to sail here, but it helps.
Sounds like the place for us.
Sounds like any port in a storm. That was good sailing back there, both of yous.
Oh. Thanks, Hellion.
That was good captaining. Are you sure this is your first time?
Something sort of just came over me. I don't know what it was. I started feeling kind of tingly in my chest, and it felt right.
You looked extra handsome. I think that might have helped.
You two put
You
me
did.
on. Stop it.
You
All right,
did.
first round of grogs on me.
Oh.
Zappy,
Why?
he's a good captain we chose.
Yeah.
As you dock, you are greeted by the dockmaster, who, looking at the pretty notable holes in your hull, will direct you to the shipwright, which is a little shack there on the docks. It's where you can go to arrange repairs and pay for pay docking fees, that sort of thing. The damage looks not great. Captain, how many hit points are we down?
We are at 20 of 30 hit points.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could probably limp from port to port, but you wouldn't want to be in open seas on this ship right now.
Fellas, maybe a rain check on that grog. Do we have any reserves we might put towards patching up old SLS?
Sodium lauryl sulfate. Oh wait, no, slightly little sloop. Right, of course.
Well, why can't we have both?
Just a monetary matter.
How
I
much
don't know
could
about
it
you.
cost to repair the sloop?
So you head to the shipwright. It's a little shack that looks like it has been built and repaired and then repaired and then repaired to the point that somehow it has become like a beefy little shack, a bit overgrown with plant life. Looks like it's been here a good long while, with the sort of dry rot almost a part of the structure. If you enter, it'll take your eyes a moment to adjust. It's quite dark. Smells of tobacco smoke and dirty seawater. As your eyes adjust, you see a rather tall, dark-skinned, very strong, bone-structured woman with a really impressive hat and a very patched but rather beautiful, in a handmade sort of way, dress. Sort of slumped with a pipe leaning behind a sort of desk.
Is her hat better than my hat?
Her feather's bigger.
Right. Dandy's gonna kind of keep to the shadows, but get as close to this feather as he can.
The quality of your hat tells me that you must be the shipwright here.
I am. What can I do for you?
We're docked just outside. We've had a nasty tiff with a brigantine on our way in. We've taken some damage to our hull. I was hoping you might take a look at it.
Sure. Let's go. She walks you right back out of the building. If you direct her to your ship, she will approach the hull, sort of squat in this dress, hands on her knees, and take a look at it. She'll turn to you and say, 300 pieces of 8.
300?
Yeah. Helga doesn't work for free. I'm the best shipwright this island's ever seen. Will ever see. You want it done right, it's going to be 300 pieces of 8.
Give her a bit of a wink. Give her a little bit of the... Give her some of that, Captain.
It may come to that, but so we're clear, what are our stocks looking like now? Do we still have any of that? We never had anything, did we?
I mean, I've got a little nest egg, but I haven't got 300.
Yeah.
You sort of press ganged me, so I'm without my vast fortune.
Oh,
No, I don't actually. I just
got vast
pirate you. No, I'm wretched.
Interesting.
I'm wearing these rags. I was wearing them when you found me. Helga,
Yes, darling.
quite a fair offer you've made. Tough but fair. I wonder what your policy would be on perhaps a bartering arrangement, services rendered. He winks. Now is the time when he winks.
I respect the attempt. You are barking up the incorrect tree, but I can point you in the direction of some silver.
Do go on.
There are always bounties to be had. I take it you're a little light on coin.
Was it the rags? It was the rags, wasn't it?
Somehow it was the 2 buckets.
What's wrong with our buckets? Might I
Absolutely
ask?
nothing. I can tell they're perfectly fine buckets. Now, if you would like some silver...
A bucket floats. You can tie it to a rope.
Right.
It
holds
versatile.
so many things.
Yes. You get a hole in it, patch it right back up.
Easy to carry.
Ergonomical.
Transport
I can
water.
see I've hit some sort of sore spot I didn't know about. Now,
And what's with your patched clothing and all of that? You're making fun of our buckets.
She slowly stands to her full height, which is taller than you.
I shrink a little bit.
Darling, do you want my help or not?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, I do. I'm sorry. Your dress is
That's
lovely.
all right. Well, thank you. You would be very pretty if you weren't in rags. Now, the governor of this fair island, useless though he is, has offered a rather large reward of 1,000 pieces of silver
Oh,
upon the
Azzy.
safe return of his lovely wayward daughter. Now, I say the poor girl is better off wherever she is, but 1,000 silver is a lot of money. Helga tells you, Veronique, the beautiful young daughter of our governor, Claude Barlett, has disappeared. There are differing opinions on what is most likely to have happened to the girl. I say she's an adult and can do what she likes and is probably fine. Or maybe she's dead, who could say? Maybe she was dead and isn't anymore, who could say?
That seems the most likely.
Because of the rules you got here that I'm to understand makes the dead not so dead.
Yeah.
Right, what's that all about?
Curse, been around for
Yes.
over 100 years as far as anyone can tell, and no one knows where it came from or how to break it. There's a father over at the local church, if you still want to call it that. It's just him and his little altar boy, but he is absolutely dead set on breaking the curse, but no one else seems to care, including our fine governor, who makes a lot of speeches about finding the cause of the curse, and then, mostly just likes to throw a ball every 3 months or so, stick around, you might get to see one of those. It's actually, it's fun, but I'd rather not.
Oh, you mean like a party bowl? I was imagining like a... Anyway.
Right.
I'm a ball.
Oh, darling.
Seems like for a governor, it'd be a lot of problems. The undeath of your island, not to mention the budget you'd spend on hangman's rope. He's not very interested in stopping things from being as they are.
Maybe he is, and he's just incompetent. He doesn't seem very motivated to me. You are welcome to ask him to his face. You'll have to visit him in his mansion if you're interested in the bounty. He can provide more information. But it is the best way at the moment to get a good sum of money for really just one job.
It's an interesting proposition you've put forward. Crew?
We accept.
I was going to have us do a huddle.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We're still learning.
Yeah, because the
I'm so
captain...
sorry.
Well, yeah.
I'm so sorry, Captain. You make the decisions, of course. I tip my none. The help
right.
doesn't exist. Yeah.
And for that matter, I don't think Helga's the person we really accept it to. I think if we're interested in this, which Zappy, you've betrayed your hand, we should be heading to the governor's manor.
That's what I would do. However, if you get yourself killed or otherwise, not my fault. Didn't do it to you.
Do you not serve the undead?
Not to my knowledge, but who am I to judge? It would be a stroke of luck if, upon your undeath, you still held on to your consciousness. I've heard rumors that it does happen on occasion, but I have yet to see that.
My eyes slide over to Hellion.
Stinky, sulfury Hellion.
Yeah.
Can't say I'd know much about that. Great talking to you, Helga. Thank you so much for all this advice.
Hope you don't die.
Thank you.
She goes back to her shack.
Before she leaves, Dandyshanks leans in towards her and then a bit past her towards the feather in her hat and whispers so that only the feather and Dandyshanks can hear. "I'll be back, you little goose." And boops it and says farewell with his companion.
That's
you see
amazing.
a look cross her face where, like, she makes the active choice not to break your fingers and then walks away. All right, you're in a weird little borderline shantytown slum. You can see the governor's manor farther into the town on a slightly elevated on a small hill. Looks much nicer, if not nearly as nice as it probably once was.
Now, Erasmus,
Hellion. Captain!
getting better.
Aye,
I
aye.
think we can all agree that I's the one blessed with the looks sharp enough to kill a man or lass, but I'd say that you have the fanciest breeding and finery of all the three of us here.
Kind of you to notice.
I think if we're going to be talking to a man of office, such as Governor Bartlett, I suppose that Gwendolyn and
Bertrand.
I'd wager that Gwendolyn and Bertrand ought to be doing most of the talking for us. We can sort of support you from the back with our stink.
I do better in the back, Captain.
Well, everybody
but-
stinks. Everybody stinks.
But the governor won't stink.
Why not?
Because he's fancy. He lives in a mansion. He probably has servants whose job it is to scrub his buttocks every morning.
So where are you going?
Right.
We want to go to the governor's manor, but we want
Yeah.
Dandyshanks to sort of take face because he looks the most respectable of all of us.
All right.
Oh, we are in rags. I keep forgetting that.
That's sort of where I'm like, we must look and smell and sound terrible. And we're going to be like, we can find your daughter. It's not going to play.
You do look and smell and sound terrible. I'll say you look up and smell about the same as, a third of the people in town. So you're in the lower third, but you still don't stick out that much. As you approach the manor, it becomes clear to you that at one point this looks of Spanish build, but it isn't now. You know this governor to be French. So how tied he still is to the French monarchy, who could say, honestly, the Dark Caribbean is so far from its colonialist origins. But he seems French and this building seems Spanish, so something happened there. You're free to knock. Should you choose to, a doorman opens and looks at, I suppose, Dandyshanks at front, expectedly.
Greetings. Dandyshanks takes off his very fine flouncy hat, holds it to his chest. We three are here to see the mayor. Please, sir. Governor! Yes.
The doorman, with a rather blank expression, gives sort of half bow and opens the door and backs up to allow you entry.
Does he look undead?
Make a presence check.
Okay. 5.
Looks like a guy.
I give him a little pat on the shoulder as we walk by. I assume he's still bowed.
So you can't see his face because he's a little bit, he's just slightly bowed over, but he doesn't startle, but he seems mildly confused as you enter.
We're here about the reward. About we heard terrible thing that the daughter had gone missing.
I bid you wait just a moment. And he leaves the room. He leaves you in this sort of foyer. It's very fancy.
Anything?
Yeah. Looks stealable.
There isn't like little trinkets laying around in the foyer, but there's a really well carved bench, a big gilt framed mirror, and probably 2 or 3 rather large, rather beautiful landscape paintings, but nothing small enough that you're likely to be able to walk off with it.
Do we see Hellion's reflection in the mirror?
I don't know, Hellion? Are you in front of the mirror?
You'd see their
Just making sure.
The servant re-enters and sort of gives you a nod as if to bid you to follow. And walks you into a rather opulent dining room. Long table, lots of chairs. There is a man who looks older and middle-aged in a sort of, imagine like a French Baroque style sort of suit. Lots of frills, lots of like brocade around the like wrists and hems. Sort of pastel colors. He's kind of a round, schlubby, like everything has drooped significantly man, with his eyes almost pulling down in like a Droopy the dog way.
Oh.
He's wearing his hair under a powdered wig, and he's eating sort of a midday meal of some sort of creature. And there's a servant to his side with like a pitcher of water or wine, and he's not a delicate eater. But as he's sort of gnawing on a bone of some sort, he does look up and say, "Well, are you here to solve this little familial problem I'm having?"
Yes, Dandyshanks flourished his hat in a bow. We have heard that such a horrible thing has happened to such a well-dressed, fine man such as yourself, Governor. We couldn't resist coming, seeing if we might be able to help you with this matter. Daughters, am I right?
Yes, my daughter, Veronique. My sweet girl. She's only a little girl. She's only 20.
Oh,
You have to bring her back. She's confused. She's just a silly little girl. She always has been. I think she's been ensorcelled somehow.
Oh, yes. Happens to women all the time, ensorcelment.
I've heard that, you know. The womb goes wandering.
And where exactly is it that, Veronique's womb has wandered?
Might we just leave her womb out of it?
Let the man speak, Zappy.
Right, alright, just a suggestion.
She's only a little girl.
Exactly.
I haven't the faintest idea where Veronique is. I think she left, but not under her own power. You have to bring her home.
Why, if I may, why do you think that she was removed not under her own power?
Well, she wouldn't leave by choice. She's just a little girl.
Of course not, of course not.
I've given her anything she wants. Anything at all. I pay for all of her silly paints. Though she is quite good. Did you see her work in the hall?
Oh, is that her?
Hauntingly beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah, haunting.
Hauntingly.
When was the last time you saw Veronique? Maybe you could use concrete nouns and places and times.
She was at dinner 8 nights ago.
8 nights.
I know.
Divisible by 4.
Keep offering more and more silver pieces. 1,000 pieces of 8. If you bring her back.
Generous.
Thank you, I am.
So after dinner, she just disappeared?
She wasn't at breakfast the next morning.
I see.
He is still eating, by the way.
Does Veronique have a handmaiden, an attendant, anyone like that?
We have servants. Do you want to speak to her girl?
Yes, please.
We may want to speak to her girl, yes.
All right. Well, bring her back and I'll pay you. Charles, take them out into the hall and they can speak to that maid girl.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Everyone.
As you back out of the room, lifting real and imagined hats, he continues eating his probably a turkey leg or something, and the first servant, the doorman who let you in, asks you to wait again in the foyer and returns quite quickly with a younger maid. She's only a teenager, like a young teenager, which is, not an uncommon. It's not an uncommon job for a young girl to work as some sort of handmaiden. And she seems pretty shy and like she doesn't know how to talk to strangers. But she does say, I was told I have to, yes?
Young lady, could you tell us what you know about your lady, Veronique? We are set about to help bring her back to all of you.
Well, do you think she's in trouble?
Does it seem like she would be in trouble? You'd know best.
She didn't like it here. She didn't like it here at all. She didn't want to be here.
No.
As she's talking, Zappy is getting a little bit smaller and a little more femme. And goes, well, I think it's quite obvious why she didn't enjoy being here. Do you have any idea where she might have gone?
Her eyes are a little bigger, and they sort of flit toward the dining room a couple times. But it is just her, the doorman left. And she says, well, there are all these rumors about the little islet with the castle on it, one the governor doesn't use.
An islet?
An extra castle?
Spare castle, I suppose. I guess it belonged to some conquistador who used to rule this island over 100 years ago. They say he's cursed. They say he caused all the problems here.
No.
That the governor's trying to solve now. And I think they say he turns into a 30-foot skeleton at night, and he roams the castle.
On this isle?
Yeah. You can see it if you go to the coast, you look east. It's
But
right
what's
there.
that got to do with Veronique?
You fall in love with skeleton.
But, well, it wouldn't be the first time she went to the castle.
Why?
Really? A little adventurous, eh?
I suppose so. I suppose if you've eaten well your entire life, you don't really appreciate it, do you? So she just ran off. I would never leave.
Did you
Good
see the
food.
size of that man's plate?
Yes, well, we don't get all that, but
Enough. More than we've got at the moment.
her eyes flit to your bucket.
I hug it protectively.
Now, I don't want to lose my job, but I also don't want to anger Veronique, but I also don't want Veronique to get hurt. So if you could just pretend I said nothing at all, that would be better.
Secrets.
No one's really asked us anything at all, so we barely even have to lie.
No one asks me anything either. This might be the first time I've ever been asked a question.
What's your name?
Oh, Sophie? What's yours?
Well, you can call me Hamish.
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 She gets more. She gets like a little blush, and she kind of shrinks a little bit more.
Sophie, you can tell us whatever is on your mind, and we have no inkling to repeat nothing back to Governor Bartlett, that's for sure, except to bring back Veronique.
She would disappear for a night or two sometimes, and the governor would be furious. But she'd come back. She'd just appear back in the manor somehow. I think she was climbing out a window. And, she would talk about some baron she had met and how lovely he was and how he wasn't like anyone she had ever met before.
which I suppose isn't that hard to do when you've lived on an island your entire life. And she seemed in love. And I know she was going to that castle. She would say it was just paint. She would come back with beautiful paintings. But I couldn't help
She
but
would do
connect.
those paintings in 1 or 2 nights.
Yes, honestly, it's a miracle. It's like she goes into a trance when she's painting. It's like she's not even here.
Do you paint anything weird?
Can you be more specific?
The whole bloody thing, Dandy, wouldn't you say?
Skeletons, blood, not lady things in the paintings. What about her most recent?
I will say the lady is smarter than she perhaps gets credit for.
Most ladies are.
And perhaps more dangerous than she gets credit for.
Oh.
She have enemies or something.
I think she would love to have an enemy. I don't know if she seemed absolutely starving for any sort of adventure, honestly.
The moneyed hands tend to get idle, don't they, when they're not put to work?
Well, I'm just saying. Perhaps she went to the island to paint and lost track of time. Or perhaps this Baron, whoever he is, swept her off her feet and sailed away with her. Or maybe that 30-foot skeleton ate her. I couldn't say. But whatever it is probably isn't great. And I would like her not to die. So...
Yeah.
They put me in the kitchens, and I'd rather be her maid than work in the kitchens, so I would like her to come back. But if that's not what she wants, that's not really my business, so...
Sounds like our next port of call is this castle. Anything else you can tell us about it?
You can walk there. It's take you a couple hours, and I've been told there's a footbridge. I doubt it's a good one, but you are welcome to try.
Otherwise, we'd sail.
You could sail, sure.
Don't know that we
Oh,
could
no, we
sail.
The
can't.
girl must have walked.
My legs could use a good stretch.
I suppose we won't trouble you any longer, Sophie. You've been most helpful. Have you told anyone else this information? Has anyone thought to ask?
No. No one else has asked to speak with me.
Rookies.
That's a shame.
Absolutely incompetent.
There has been a handful of sort of, privateers that have come by asking about the bounty. They just sort of come and go, and then they don't
No
come back.
one's returned. Oh.
No one's come back.
Looks like that skeleton has thinned the field for us.
Please don't die. You seem nice.
Well, regardless of what Madame Veronique would like, we'll come back and let you know what happened.
Thank you. That's kind
Sure.
of you.
You seem like a good sort, Sophie.
Before we leave, did she ever bring anything back other than the paintings?
Sometimes she'd come back with a flower or some little trinket she didn't have before. It was never anything that she couldn't have gotten somewhere, so I didn't read into it too much, but I did wonder if they were gifts.
Right. Is there any chance we could see her room?
Oh.
I suppose she's like looking around for permission, but there's no one to ask.
Oh, it'll be just a quick stop.
Oh, all right.
We should-
Okay.
Come on now.
Just quickly.
Hi.
She leads you at a quick pace up a wide staircase, up a couple of levels of this manor to a corner bedroom. As she opens the door, you see like a 4-poster bed, really lovely furniture, heavy rugs on the floor. All of the curtains are pulled back to let in all of the light. You do see an easel with a sort of half-finished painting in the corner, lots of tubes of paint sort of lying around. She has her own sitting room attached. There's a fireplace. Is there anything you're looking for?
anything out of the ordinary, but also the trinkets she brought back.
Yes, I'm going to give you an option here. Is there a skill you would like to try to use?
Let's see. I guess, well, he's probably trying to use presence, even though he's not very good at it.
Okay. Give me a presence roll.
13 minus 1, 12.
Okay. Right under her pillow, there is what looks like a small, like she didn't even bother hiding these things. There's a small collection of little trinkets. There is a locket. There's a sort of brooch. There's a little hairpin. All gold, slightly tarnished, but looks like she's taken pains to sort of polish it as much as she can. And they all, they don't look French. They look Spanish. And old. They look old and Spanish.
What would you say? Would it trouble you if we borrowed these? It might help us find out where they came from. We could match them up, try to figure out where exactly she's been, where she might be.
I suppose only Veronique knows they're here in the first place, so I guess if you're going to find her, you're really just returning them to their owner?
I mean, everyone else hasn't come back. Maybe this will give us an edge.
Sure. Just add that to the pile of things you maybe don't mention.
Of course not. Secrets, remember, we're great.
If I'm being honest, we're going to talk to Lord Claude as little as possible.
That's my general approach as well.
Yeah.
Is the painting of anything specific? Does it look like it's of the same style as the ones that we saw in the hallway?
Yes. She has a sort of smudgy style to her these oil paintings where they're surprisingly colorful. It's almost like she's just smearing all of her paints on the canvas, and yet somehow it makes a really beautiful landscape. This one is it's unfinished, but there is, you can see a sort of jungle-covered island with a smaller islet beyond, and just the sketched outline, the beginnings of a painting of a castle.
If I touch the paint, is it still wet?
Nope.
All right. Well, I think it's off to the castle with us now.
Hellion's been lingering in the doorway of the bedroom, and he says, "Yeah, it seems like the castle's pretty dead on."
You all right, Captain?
Didn't seem right to stink up the room of a fancy lass such as this.
Oh, don't be like that.
No, I'm pretty. It's never good.
I'm sure even lasses get stinky every once in a while.
Not like this.
You were talking about you, and you were talking about being stinky. That makes a lot more sense. You smell much worse than the both of us. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, we go to the castle.
Can we make one stop first?
For a drink?
Sort of.
No.
I think if we're all right with just taking just a minute, lads, just a minute, I'd like to maybe stop by the church.
Oh, talk to this pastor.
Or the altar boy.
Oh, right. Anybody else think that smells a little bit suspicious? That the old father is only living with the one little altar boy.
I suppose
If
they're
you ask
kind of
me.
the cloth.
Yeah, but what's that cloth cut from?
You are seen out of the manor.
and pointed toward the old church. Has no other name. You see a rather run-down, clearly very, very old stone church. Not very big. And you are told to ask for Father Wallace or Rupert. If you enter the church, it feels a little grimy, a little unused. Like this is not somewhere people bother to come in this world very often. But sort of sweeping the floor in the sanctuary of the church, you see probably 16 or 17-year-old kid.
Oh.
Hello. He really perks up when 3 people walk in the door. He goes, hello, are you here to pray?
Oh, gods, no.
Oh.
Is the priest present today?
Yes, I can get the father from his chambers if you want to speak with him.
Are you Rupert?
Yes.
Wait,
How did
why
you...
are we... What are we here for?
I
was going to start questioning him.
You sure can. I just have one thing I'd like to take care of with the priest.
Oh, all right. Well, Rupert, what do you know about the 30-foot skeleton that lives in the castle?
I'm sorry. Oh. Is there a 30-foot skeleton?
In this section of the show, so we just have to ask one question.
I'm sorry, is there a 30-foot skeleton somewhere? What?
You
what?
haven't heard.
I'm sorry, can I ask... It's probably not my place, but can I ask why you're asking about a 30-foot skeleton and also Father Wallace?
Oh, I've no business with the father, but we're going to be rescuing Veronique Bartlett, who's been missing. You know anything about that?
He instantly blushes a little bit. You're looking for Veronique?
Oh, you know her, do you?
Her father used to bring her here. You know, occasionally, on the occasional Sunday when he would still sort of make an appearance for some sermons. He hasn't in a couple of years, but he used to bring her along. She never seemed very happy, but I thought she was... I hope she's all right. Are you going to...
You thought she was what?
She's clearly a very fine lady and has no business here. So...
Oh. Yeah.
But you know what? I'll get the father. And he sort of just skitters out of the room. A few moments pass, and an older man, but salt and pepper, but still has some muscle on him. Not an old man by any means. Comes in black robes, white collar, whole deal. I'm sorry, my altar boy said someone wanted to speak with me about a 30-foot skeleton.
I actually, it wasn't, the skeleton was a separate, there's some wires got crossed there.
I see, that does make more sense. Although I am dedicated to the eradication of the dead, so if there is a 30-foot skeleton, I would love to know about it.
Duly noted. We'll let you know.
Thank you. Now, what can I do for you?
Hellion shoots a pointed look over at Dandy and Zappy and sort of mumbles, are you Father? Father Wallace?
Father Wallace. What was your name?
Hamish,
you can
apparently.
call me Hamish.
Hamish, it's nice to meet you. He reaches out a hand to shake yours.
Thank you. Is there an office or a booth somewhere we could have a quiet chat?
Well, there is my office in the back, or there's the confessional. It's you choose which is most appropriate to your needs.
Well, seeing as we're sort of among friends here in the main room of the... Let's go to the confessional. I'd like if we could just do that for a minute.
No problem.
Amish, we're learning so many things about you today.
If you could maybe take the altar boy and get some snacks.
Certainly, we'll get some snacks. As soon as they're in the confessional, I would like to try to sneak up and listen.
Dandyshanks as well, yes.
Rupert had just started to say to you, we do keep some supplies for the poor. If you're interested in gruel, I can offer gruel.
Oh, yeah. Let's all go and get some gruel, Rupert. You lead the way.
Yeah.
We'll be right behind you.
Yeah.
Hellion, you enter the confessional booth. The father enters the other side. He's given up the illusion of pretending he doesn't know who you are because everyone's kind of saw this happen. But he says, now, my child, what do you need to confess?
So Hellion has been visibly uncomfortable since all of us entered the church, sort of nervous, looking around, flustered, and as he sits in this on the bench in the confessional booth, he just kind of sags and he says, Father Wallace, I don't know where to begin. I suppose, brace yourself. Don't shit yourself. Or not. Can I say shit in here? There's, it's one of the big ones. It's, I did do a spot of murder.
Sure, go on.
Here's you're kind of dismissing it because you get a lot of pirates and corsairs in here and they all murder each other in that, but this was a little different because when you murder someone, it's a mortal sin. If you do a mortal sin, you go to hell.
That is the teaching, yes.
Well, it's not just the teaching, it's the reality. I'm sort of on my second lap, if you could catch my meaning.
Interesting. A child, are you undead?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't feel like I am, but I definitely did die, and then later I definitely undied. So you could maybe tell me.
Has your flesh been rotting off the bone?
No.
That's a good sign. And this is your original body?
I lost a rib down there. It's not a funny story. But yes, otherwise, yes.
I look at Dandyshanks very confused.
There's a rib.
Where is down there?
Apologies for my silence, child. I have encountered a great many terrible things in the decades I have walked this earth. But this is the first time I have encountered someone who claims not only to have experienced hell on earth, because who hasn't, but to have gone to hell itself and returned.
And, I don't like to make a big fuss about it, really. It's fine at the end of the day. But it's just that being here on your lovely island, I can't help but hearing words spoken about this curse. And, I'm sort of wondering if I'm already back, as it were. What would happen to me if I were to, Because you're supposed to be like the expert in all this sort of angels and demons business.
Yeah, well, I do try. I'm afraid I can't say one way or another. What I will say is that I have been studying the undeath of this island. I have dedicated whatever remains of my life to lifting the curse these people live under. And what I have witnessed is that souls do not leave this island. If you die here, your soul comes back. Perhaps you reanimate your own corpse and it slowly disintegrates around you. Perhaps you come back as a soul without a body. Once your flesh has rotted, perhaps you animate your own skeleton. All of it is bad. And in the vast majority of cases, despite certain rumors, you are no longer yourself. You do not remember yourself. And you are driven to do things you otherwise would not do. That sounds like hell to me. If you are speaking of a fear of returning to wherever you were, assuming you were somewhere else, that does not seem to happen to things here. So perhaps you can rest easy on that case? I will also say, no one is beyond redemption, and murder is not great. I'm going to level with you. That's a big one. However, not knowing the circumstances of that event, I am looking for able hands to assist in lifting the curse of this island. So far, volunteers are few and far between. Most seem to feel that it's hopeless, that there's nothing to work towards and there is no way to lift this curse. I do not feel that way. I also do not feel that the governor is doing all he can, or that he has told us the truth in many matters. So, perhaps your path to redemption, if I can risk sounding a bit selfish for a moment, is by joining the cause, as it were, and seeking out whatever the source of this curse may be.
Oh, it's like who's confessing to who now. You know, it kind of flipped a little bit. I like that. Well, you've given me a lot to think about here, Father Wallace, and I appreciate that. I don't know about joining up a church and singing songs or anything like that. I just kind of wanted to make sure I wasn't going to go to like a double hell if I bidded on these shores. But you know what? We'll take pamphlets on the way out, and if we see anything at the spooky castle, you'll be the third person we'll tell.
Are you going to the castle?
Yeah, is that a sin too? Shit. I mean,
no,
sorry.
No, it's well, perhaps bad news for you, but good news in that if you survive, I would very much like to know what you find. I have pieced together what information I can about the source of this curse, and it does all seem to originate somehow with the fall of the conquistador who ruled this island some 100 years ago. So going to his castle isn't a bad start. I will also warn you, child, that I have not known a single person to return. So I would really love it if you were the first.
You've never known anyone who died and came back, have you either?
I have not. Big day. Lots of firsts.
Well, I feel great. This has been a treat. I'm gonna find my crew, and we'll let you know. We'll bring you back something nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh!
Are you guys like sprawled on the floor in front of the
It's
confession?
gruel.
No. We like ran away. You probably clearly heard the footsteps.
Rupert's standing there nervously, not sure what to do about the circumstance. Like, he thought he was taking you for gruel, and then you just stopped.
Yeah, quickly scurry away as we hear that you're starting to come out. Wow,
That was great gruel.
really, really good gruel. Thank you so much, Rupert.
Best
Really
gruel.
excellent gruel. Exemplary gruel.
Oh,
Have you confessed all your sins, Amish?
I'm
Captain.
right emptied, yeah. So if we want to,
Captain Amish.
yeah. Well, if
Handsome
we
Captain Amish.
like to get to this castle by nightfall, and without getting
Right.
strangled by our captain, I'd reckon we hit the cobblestones sooner rather than later.
I do like that. Father, could I ask you a quick question? Well, maybe not quick, but a question.
Hmm.
What? So, the castle used to have a conquistador.
Okay, so you were just
skeleton,
listening to all of it then.
No, No, we know
What? No,
We grew.
Because he was just
Never.
talking about the castle and the conquistador.
I've
Like a
had time
minute
to
ago.
think about it. I just want to know about the castle. Why is the castle no longer in use? What happened to this conquistador? Why is he skeleton, supposedly? Does it have to do with this curse at all? You've been looking into the curse, right?
Yes, I am sort of leading that charge. What we know is that there was, I suppose, a baron of some sort ruled the island some 100 years ago. It was held by the Spanish. He was overthrown, and ever since that time, this island has been under this curse of undeath, more so than the rest of the Caribbean. So, you can hardly help but drawing a line between the two events. And given the death rate of any who go near that castle, it does seem to be heavily haunted. Yes, there are rumors of some sort of skeletal guard, perhaps, or malevolent spirit that has taken up residence. I would like to believe that if we sort of solved whatever the puzzle of this castle is, that perhaps everything would just be fixed.
Right.
Seems a bit much to hope for, but that would be lovely.
Is that what brought you here?
I've been here for a couple of decades now. I wanted to go where I was most needed. No one had taken up residence at this church in quite some time. And, well, when there's a job opening, you should jump at it. And I have worked for many years trying to gather information. I have led raids on haunted locales across the island. I've gathered information. I have paid sailors to bring back records. I, at one point, even attempted to storm that castle and could not gather enough men to make it feasible.
Wow.
If the governor would throw a bit of coin behind the cause, I believe it would make some headway, but he seems to be mostly hot air as far as that is regarded.
In more than one way. Right, you're third in line for information if we get any. See you after the first two people.
I think he's fourth.
Thank you. I do appreciate any information you can provide.
Wait, who's even the first one? There's the maid.
The
And then
governor.
what? Oh, right. Of course. I forgot about
Do
the
have to tell him about the daughter.
I forgot. No, you know why I forgot? It's because as we're leaving the church,
Rupert waves. He goes, "Bye, Mr. Hamish. I hope you don't die."
John, you don't have to say that name loud.
Mr. Hamish.
Sorry.
well, you're just throwing it around everywhere.
I don't like lying to kids or priests. That's the two. Why do we have to talk to kids and priests?
Are you a man of the cloth yourself?
Are you kidding? What a waste of a perfectly good life.
Well, I agree, but you seem to hold some sort of beliefs.
They're like a doctor. They're good at fixing stuff in your head a bit, right?
I've never had any success, but there's
Maybe
nothing
there's
to
nothing
fix
in there.
here.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
No, it's all in ship shape.
I bet.
Right.
Flawless.
Anyway, so I've got a great plan, and that is, right, we go, we rescue Veronique, whatever. Great, no problem. We come back. We kill the governor. We take all of his money, and then we've got enough for the sloop, the slutty little sloop. We can give Veronique a little piece. We can give Sophie a little piece. We can give Helga a little piece. Maybe even Rupert, since you've such a shine-in for children. I'll not say that again.
Zappy, if we kill the governor, what do you think's going to happen at sundown?
We just kill him again.
Yeah, like 2 times.
And you know what? Even better, then you and I will be able to change our rags for his nice French brocade will look even more sophisticated than Dandyshanks.
You could try.
Mull it over as we're exploring the castle.
So, to the castle?
To the castle?
Can we
the
stop for a
castle.
bit of grog first? No.
We were promised grog.
Right.
Let's do grog at the
Captain
end.
Amish, Hellion, Ansem. We were promised some grog.
Everybody mark off a silver piece for your grog.
You said your first round's on you.
I was a different man then.
Okay. Okay. So you have, you drank your grog, mark off your silver, and feeling just a bit as drunk as you chose to get with the silver available to you, head off into the jungle to head to the far eastern side of this little island and the crumbling ruins of a castle. You can, when not deep in the jungle trees, can actually see pretty easily because it is on an elevated sort of cliffside. It seems to sit on this little islet just off the island proper. And as you emerge from the trees some hours later, I'd say it's mid to late afternoon at this point. Perhaps a bit dehydrated, beginning to get a bit hungover. Emerging from the trees, you see this cliffside and the crumbling ruins of a castle upon it. It is honestly very peaceful. There's a nice breeze off the sea. You hear some seabirds. May or may not be undead, but they sound nice regardless. And leading out to this little islet, a footbridge, sort of. It's a sort of rope and plank bridge over a solid 50-foot distance from one shore to the other, and a 30-foot drop into the sea below.
Looks like we're gonna have to walk the planks, eh, boys? I'm ready to jump into the ocean, so somebody... Not all this walking, I'm really over it.
Does it really look like that's the only way? Like,
If you wanted to swim or somehow boat, like raft across the ocean, you'd first have to climb down. You'd have to get across the water, and then you would have to climb up somehow. You could try it.
I'm like, did Veronique do this multiple times at night, for instance?
Sounds like she probably did. If she could do it, we can do it. Amish, why don't you go first? You're 20 pounds wet.
Lot of questions and notes about the names. No one asking about how I went to hell, which I think is maybe the more interesting part of that story. But
you went down.
You
Hello,
did?
Captain.
yeah, all right. Feels like I'm still there some
make
days.
it back?
Yeah. You up and died?
Why did you go to hell?
Yeah.
Thank you for your polite interest, mates. Yeah.
Well, obviously we want to know.
I don't think you're going to be satisfied until you sort of got this out of your system, is sort of how I'm feeling about it, based on the past 2 hours of walking with Hamish in the jungle. Am I right?
Would you like to talk about it, Captain?
Sure, Dandyshanks.
Tell us a little story,
like nothing
Captain.
better. It's the... I mean, you know what, I was going to say it's not that interesting, but it is. I was apprenticed to a wood carver in the port city where you found me. And he tried to steal this. He pulls the chain out with the compass dangling on it, which I've had since I was a boy. And
Oh, from you? A master tried to steal from his apprentice?
the old man was skilled enough, but a drunk and an angry one, and he liked to have his fits. It was normally not so bad, but this time he was quite fixated on it, and it came to blows, and I got him as good as he got me.
And he was old and a drunk, so his heart just exploded.
No, I smashed him in the head with a block of stone.
Oh,
Good on you, Captain.
yeah.
At the same time, he shot me through the chest with his pistol.
Oh, yeah, that'll get you.
Yeah.
Right. So what's it filled with now? Give us a look.
He
Part the rags.
parts the yeah. He parts the rags. You can see the wound, the scar from the bullet hole, just clean over his heart. And then even lower, there's like a huge mass of scar tissue, kind of just below the pectoral. And he says, "Hang on, one thing at a time."
Right under the pectoral.
Oh, that's something
there.
else.
See, I was, normally
Give us
when
a
you go
twirl.
down there. Normally, lads, when you're down there, it's a one-way trip, right?
Right.
But I'd been tortured for, an interminable, unfathomable amount of hours or months or years. And
Oh.
while I was down there, I was still carving, still whittling. And one of them saw, and they offered me a deal, which I took, of course. What else could I do? What other position could I hold?
With a devil.
Right.
They offered me a deal to make them a carving. I guess they wanted some decoration for a weapon or a lodging or something, and they wanted it from one of my ribs.
Oh, that's what that really long scar is. I see.
I carved it while the rib was still in my chest.
Ooh.
Took a bit of time, I can assure you, and after that, when it was all gussied up to their satisfaction, they ripped it out of me and just straight away kicked me back up to the daylights.
Wow. Your pain tolerance must be astronomical.
It actually is, though I'm quite weak.
That's really fucking sick. Above board. Wow.
So I thought I would just tell you the sordid tale from end to end. You understand that?
So that's why you stink of rotten eggs all the time.
I didn't used to, I can promise you. And
I don't know if I believe you there.
well, it's a hell stink. I mean,
Hell
it's
stink.
just yeah.
Not a I'm dead stink, but a hell stink.
I don't think I'm dead. I didn't lie to Father Wallace. I don't lie to priests. I'm pretty sure I'm
Look
just
dead.
back, exactly. So, but that's what I was worried about. If I die again while I'm on this island, where do I go?
Where do you go? Right. Well, hold on just a second. So your end of the bargain was to carve them a little statue of something out of your rib.
Do you want to feel? It's actually really soft right here. Do you want to? I know you'd want to feel it. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like
yeah,
oddly.
yeah.
There's a great. They took one from the middle, so there's like a gap.
As soon as Zappy touches you, there's like more than usual like jolt of like static electricity. Sorry. That's really fascinating. That's really cool. You should
Never
like
seen it
get
before.
a shirt. You should style your rags in a way that highlights your scars.
I never thought to do that, but you could be right. Seems like it's
No,
a
I'm
story
always
everyone
right.
wants a taste of. Were you always so shockingly right, Zappy? Okay.
Yes.
Must have not noticed before.
Yeah. It's just a thing.
Just me.
Because I'm, sort of laying it on the table before we go into this castle that's going to kill us. So if there were anything else to share.
I look blankly at Dandyshanks. Anything to share? Oh, husband of mine.
I mean, you.
Did you know that we're married technically?
You were still wearing garters when you picked me up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think we put your dress up on the flag, like instead of it. Remember?
Yeah. For the maiden voyage.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you married a doctor. That's about all there is. Fancy doctor.
So you're gonna walk those planks, Captain Hellion? Do you prefer Hamish or Hellion?
Hellion's fine. I just, it's also a contextual thing, I think. Am I going to be going up to a little maiden and say, oh, don't worry, lass, you can call me Hellion? She's going to spit in my eye. What kind of name? And a priest, too. I got to make confession. I'm the big bad pirate Hellion. Like, it's, different. It's code switching.
You're making a lot of judgments about strangers, Captain.
Yeah, maybe you're right, Dandyshanks. Maybe you're right. But listen, I think Zappy should go across these planks, seeing as you're the most nimble of all of us. By a wide margin.
Oh, I am. I'm quite slippery.
It's true.
All right. Well, sure. What's the worst that could happen?
Right. So are you going one at a time? Or all at once?
Zappy's going first to test the weight of the contraption.
Okay, so I'm going to need an agility check.
Okay. Just a D20 plus my agility. That's a 14.
Okay. It is wobbly, but you can feel, while the wood is really not doing great, there's a lot of dry rot involved here. Some of the ropes seem in better condition, as if they've perhaps been reinforced or replaced. So you do okay. You get to the other side.
Come on, Captain. Everything's fine.
I wonder if Zappy could
I,
brace the ropes.
Stabilize? Yeah.
If Zappy wanted to do some sort of check and beats a DR12, I would lower the DC to, or the DR to 10.
Okay. I'm trying to think how I can use my bucket. I set my bucket gently to the side, and I think I sit down. I imagine this bridge isn't that wide, right? Yeah. So I sit down and I brace my legs against the posts of the bridge and hold on to the ropes to give it so that there's less tension when Hellion crosses it.
Great. That sounds like strength to me, but do you want to make an argument for something else?
Maybe toughness? Because I'm
Sure.
Great.
Why not?
Great. I love that. Okay. That is a 14 again.
Okay, yeah, you braced nicely. I'm going to lower the DR for everyone else's agility check to 10.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that assistance, Zappy. The other thing I would ask is, could we consider this to be an ability test related to navigating, treasure hunting, finding and disarming traps, or tracking prey?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now I can make my agility test. Woo! Didn't even have to worry. That is a 16 minus 1 for a 15 total.
Amazing.
Great.
But I think that all of my questions kind of color the skittishness in which Hellion sort of ekes his way across these
You're
rickety
bartering
planks.
with fate as you try to cross this bridge.
Exactly.
Okay, Dandyshanks, it's just you over there.
It's just delicious. Oh, that's an 11 for Dandyshanks.
Are you sure?
But the DC is lowered to 10.
Oh,
because
that's
I'm
right.
holding the game.
Yes.
Oh, I thought we were about to. I was going to just change the whole adventure. The adventure is saved, Dandyshanks. Okay, Dandyshanks,
Precious.
just barely, and I'd say a plank does snap under your feet, and it is only by grabbing the ropes that Zappy is holding that you are able to keep yourself on this bridge.
Dandy!
Brush myself off as I get off the bridge.
You're standing now on this cliffside, looking at a large, though overgrown severely, stone wall with a portcullis rusted open. You can see beyond a sort of courtyard. It would be a very, honestly, peaceful scene. It seems completely still. Lots of the plant life is very lush. The sun happens to be shining at the moment, which is friggin' rare. It's frankly a beautiful day. Of course, the beautiful scene you're looking at is quite a few skeletons and decaying corpses on pikes across this entire courtyard. You can see the castle proper beyond with a large, heavy, double wooden door.
You said there's a bunch of skeletons on pikes. Can we reach them?
Yep. Walk right in.
Oh, they're not like on top. Wait, I missed something.
No,
they're not on top of.
They're not on top of the wall. They're in the courtyard. They're sort of adorning the courtyard.
Oh, we should take the arms off of all of them and like bury them separately or something, just in case they come to life at night. We do not have the resources to deal with an entire army of undead skeletons.
I don't disagree, but even more than that, we need to be out of here well before sundown.
Yes.
Oh, we're not gonna like fix the curse.
Did you want to? I was just trying
Well,
to be
that's
nice
what
to
I
the
thought
priest.
we were going for.
We're going for
all right.
Veronique. She's worth 1,000
Oh,
silver.
right. I forgot. Right. Priority, Zappy.
Is there a visible like spire or tower or highest point of this castle?
Yeah, there are a couple of spires coming off this almost sort of rambling, asymmetrical castle. You'll notice right away there is a really decrepit, derelict ship, like a full ship, probably a little smaller than your sloop, but it looks like it was picked up by some incredible storm and just smashed into a spire of this castle, and it's just sort of impaled there. Looks like it's been a long time, but it's quite a sight.
Do you think a 30-foot skeleton could throw a ship like that up there?
Yes, I do.
I'm also thinking if I was a young girl thirsty for adventure, a Princess Tower pirate ship treehouse would be a pretty sweet spot.
I mean, I think it's pretty cool.
It's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, lads, let's try and keep it on the down. Let's to keep it quiet around here in case there really is a 30-foot skeleton.
That's what I do best. And I slither up to the front door. I assume there's a front door.
As you cross this courtyard,
I take the thumb bones off of every hand that I can within reach.
as you approach these
Smart.
skeletons, they do begin to twitch
Oh,
just
damn
a
it.
bit, and sort of make feeble attempts
Oh,
at
it's
like
kind of sad, really.
reaching for you.
Oh. Somebody's already taken care of them. Or do you think they get stronger at night?
Again,
I'll
I'd
just
rather
take
not
their
be
thumbs
around
just
it.
to be
Yeah.
safe.
Alright, I love yeah.
Well, I'm not even going to make you roll for it because they really can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
So
great. I
you
have a
have their
pouch full
thumbs
of,
now, which
of
is
carpals.
wild. The thumbs still seem like very slightly animated, but they don't have anything to like
Yeah.
move them. So they're just kind of, they're trying, but nothing's happening. Pouch full of animated thumbs. As you approach this front door, you sort of step into the shadow of the castle, and you have to blink for a moment to clear the spots from your eyes. And as you blink them open, there is a faint, ghostly figure standing in front of these doors. A man, a tall man, but not 30 feet, like a 6-foot tall man who looks, for all the world, like a conquistador. He has the armor, the weird pointy hat. He has a beard, sort of sunken eyes, but he's just a ghost. He doesn't look like rotted or decrepit or anything. And he's staring at you completely still.
Staring at us.
He's making eye contact with you. And there's this long pause as you initially notice him. And before anyone can really react, he takes a step back and sort of fades back into the castle.
Right, so perhaps stealth is not going to be possible.
He didn't seem overly hostile.
Or he wanted to get us on his own turf.
All the more reason to move quickly then.
Right. Well, just give me a second here with the door. And I'm gonna scoot up to the door and try my key in it.
Interesting. Doesn't fit, but nice try.
I stuff it back down my pants. Right. Is it unlocked?
Yeah, it's unlocked.
Right, door's unlocked, lads. Let's go. To the Princess Tower ship.
There is a sort of opulent, if grimy, foyer just beyond. There is a wide staircase leading sort of up into the castle. Everything is stone. Looks like some things used to be gilded. There used to be a lot of like carved wood. There used to be rugs on the floor. But at this point, it's just the suggestion of those things. It is heavily overgrown with plant life. And everything is very, very rotted and decrepit and very just filthy. There's the wide staircase ahead. There is a sort of smaller, steeper staircase sort of off to one side as well. There's also a very large painting hanging on the wall that is not nearly as dirty. Mm-hmm. And it looks to be of a sort of stormy mountain range.
Does it have a certain blotchy, impressionistic style that we would recognize?
Yes, it does.
Interesting.
Is it crazy if we just try yelling for her?
Oh!
I'll leave it up to you, Captain.
Right.
Dandyshanks will kind of hide.
Ahoy! Veronique!
I go listen at the little staircase.
There's a long moment of silence after the initial sort of rustle of a bird or two you hear take off. If you're listening at the smaller staircase, you'll hear a sort of startled rustling of like many small things up above. But you also see... Does anyone have decent presence?
No.
No.
Okay. Well, you see something. I'm going to say Hellion, because you're the one calling out. You see the movement of some shadow up the larger staircase.
Ah, there she is, up the stairs.
Oh, well, let's
Really?
go.
Well, lead the way, Captain. Oh, Captain.
He chases
My
the shadow.
you go up this opulent staircase, and you find yourself in a dining hall. A large one that was probably once used for, like state dinners or events. Long dining table, many chairs, suits of armor along the walls. What's notable, beyond it just being very old and decrepit, is the amount of plant life has gotten even more dense here, and is turned into these vines, these sort of twisted vines, as thick as Hellion's arm. And
So small.
it especially seems sort of concentrated in one of the corners of the room, but it spreads everywhere. As you look into the room or step in, you don't immediately see any people.
Interesting.
We investigate the corner. Where it's thickest.
As you step within, you sort of have to step in and around all of these vines, and it gets thicker and thicker, and it becomes more difficult to sort of approach that corner. Dandyshanks, you spoke first, so I'm going to say you'll be the first to notice that it's becoming difficult to lift your feet. And if you look down, it is because vines are attempting to reach up and sort of grab around your ankles.
Not the heeled slippers.
Would someone like to roll a d6?
Sure. 4.
Okay, you three are going to go first.
I mean, Dandyshanks, what's your reaction to this thing that's like crawling all over your feet?
Chop at vines with cutlass.
Sure. Make an attack with your cutlass.
Hey. Oh.
Is that a good or a bad-o?
I got a 2 plus 0.
Okay, what does a 2 look like when you attack with a cutlass?
It looks like I accidentally get more shoe than vine, and I'm just concerned with the scuffing now. I'm like,
At least they're not named.
It's an open toe boot now.
exactly.
Would anyone else like to react to this situation as these vines have not yet grappled but are attempting to grapple at least Dandyshanks?
Is there any other way out of the room?
Yeah, there is another Yeah, just the one stairwell. There's a stairwell leading up again to somewhere else.
Alright, so presumably we have to go that way. So, I'm wondering if this can give me some sort of advantage or something because of nature. You guys see, I think for the first time, because we haven't had any hand-to-hand combats yet, Zappy kind of like wriggles a little bit all over, and you can see electricity start to pop off of their skin. And I start to walk through the vines. I mean, I guess mechanically just making an attack roll against them with my electric skin, but
Awesome.
feels like something, let's say like an eel could slip out of vines and or not get caught by vines. Since literally what they do is go through reefs and stuff.
Absolutely, 100%. Love it.
Great.
Let's make that attack. However you do that.
Okay. So any advantage or anything?
No.
No? Okay, then I'll use a Devil's Luck. I'll use a Devil's Luck to lower the DR by 4, and I got a I got a 10 minus 1 for 9.
Okay. You hit it. What are you hitting it with?
My electric skin, so it's a D6 for a 6. Yeah, so I do 6 points of damage, but I guess I want to like walk through and try to pull Dandyshanks out.
So one of the vines, one big section of vine sort of withers and blackens. You almost hear a sort of squeaky screech as it does so.
Oh.
And one section is no more, and another sort of beyond that is sort of zapped a bit. It looks damaged.
All right, Dandy.
Don't
Don't know why you wanted to go walking into all this vegetation in your lovely clothing.
I thought I was contributing for once. Is there anything in the corner? Or is there nothing in the corner?
This is a lot of plants. It's almost like there's something almost writhing in a plant-like way, if things can writhe in a plant-like way.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly doesn't look humanoid.
Thank you. I don't think I will lead the way again for a while.
Hellion, anything from you?
So, do you want to tell us all a little bit about what that was, Zappy?
It was a bit more than your usual static.
Sure. Yeah. So my mum was an eel. So I'm half eel.
So I married half eel.
What is that?
Yeah, you've heard of like.
I feel like you should have disclosed this before we got married. I mean, I know it wasn't like a marriage.
You mean you haven't met Zappy's parents?
No. Well, my mum's been eaten, so you can't meet her because she's an eel.
Pickled, or is that rude to ask?
What? No, by like a kraken. She was like a giant eel, I imagine.
Ooh.
I don't really know. It's what my father's told me. but you know how like mermaids exist. I'm like that, but I feel right.
Yeah.
Right.
The vines are crawling back towards you.
All right, okay, yeah.
Hellion, you haven't done anything mechanically yet. If you would
Do I
like to.
need to? I want to like flee these vines.
Do it.
I have no
Everybody
quarrel
run.
with these vines.
Yeah.
As you are attempting to exit this room up this other staircase, you nearly run into a sort of short and slight human figure in dark black dress who says, "Stop it!" And for a second you think she's talking to you, but then you see her eyeline is actually going past you and her hand is outstretched toward the vines. And as she does this, they all sort of like borderline apologetically pull back in towards themselves. And then she said to all of you, "And you, I would appreciate it if you wouldn't burn my garden."
Veronique, I presume?
Who are you?
Your saviors?
You see now, this has to be Veronique. She's probably 5'4", very slight, very pale skin, sort of pale green eyes, dark hair, and in a black evening gown. And she looks annoyed and disinterested.
Did you come here in that dress? It's lovely, by the way.
Yes,
Thank you
gorgeous.
so much. No, I've been bringing one or two dresses at a time for a while. It's hard to move when your father is, controlling bastard. So
Oh,
You've moved here.
yes, welcome to my home. Thank you for knocking.
Oh. Well, we thought the castle was abandoned.
Captain called out earlier.
Right.
Yes, I heard that. I thought maybe you'd just go away, and then you burned my garden. So
Well, we were.
Well, we tried to strangle
concerned.
my friend.
You can control the plants. Zappy's an eel. I've been to hell. Dandy, is now the time you're going to tell us that your hat whispers to you while you sleep.
Oh, I wish, Captain.
Veronique, we've been charged with quite a bounty, as I'm sure you're aware, placed by your father, the governor.
I imagine you have. I'm sorry you've wasted your time. I hope you weren't injured. I can offer you a bit of silver. I'm sure not the amount my father has access to, but I would really appreciate it if you would leave me and my husband to our business.
Right. So your husband, was he the ghost that we saw at the door?
Is the sun still up?
Yeah.
Then yes, that was him.
Question: could we infer that your husband is also part 30-foot skeleton?
Well, 30 foot. Last time I heard that rumor, it was 20 foot. So things have really gone
Economy,
crazy out
yeah.
there. No, it's more like 10. It's more like 10 feet.
Okay, well, that's reasonable-ish.
And how can you control those plants again?
I
also
planted them
husband?
and they like me.
Oh, okay.
Nope. Those are plants, darling. Those are called hive vines. Would you like to see them up close?
Oh, we've met. No, thank you.
No. All right. Well, I understand. They're fascinating.
Sure.
Now, this picture's rapidly sort of clarifying itself, and I appreciate that you're obviously not interested in returning home to your father, but I suppose I gotta ask, just for thoroughness' sake, was you just planning to live here forever, never go back to the town? Why not, like, even, say goodbye to anybody?
Well, if I said goodbye to anyone, my father would have a better idea of where I am. I suppose I knew he'd figure it out eventually, but I was kind of hoping I could kick that can down the road a bit and deal with it when it happened. Also, when your husband is a part-time 10-foot skeleton, you kind of assume things will take care of themselves.
Suppose that's fair. Are you set here? Do you got food? Like it's a no offense, it's an abandoned castle.
I brought some things with me. An occasional supply run would be appreciated. I'm very hesitant to go back to the main island for obvious reasons. I could direct you to how to find some silver of my father's if you wanted to occasionally bring me things. Actually, I have a much better idea. This castle has never been raided. Not a single person has looted it because they all die when they come because they're trespassers. Don't worry, we're working on it. Our friendliness, as you know, we don't have to kill everyone. We're getting better. But this castle is full of very nice things that I don't really care about or need. If you wanted to take some of those, I can even direct you to the best ones.
Huddle.
And
Crew
in
huddle.
exchange for what?
Oh,
Like not telling your
my
father
father where I am. Maybe even
Mm-hmm.
telling him I'm dead. Honestly,
Oh.
if you think you can really sell it, I don't need all of my toes. Maybe you could take.
I
a
was
little
just
one or
thinking the
something.
same thing. Yeah.
We're not
Right.
going to take your toe.
Why not?
I was going to say finger, but I do use those, And I would have to trust that you would not tell him and that you would perhaps arrange regular supply runs to the castle to be left at the gate or something. And every time you came, you could take whatever you can carry.
It's a fair offer, and I'd say we're not opposed. There's a couple
Right.
matters of further deliberation, I
Right.
should think.
Yeah.
Well, while you're thinking about it, I could why don't you come with me to the library at least?
Sure.
So you can see what's in there.
Okay.
I have this suspicion. One of the downsides to the Baron's condition is that he does not remember who he was in life or anything about the castle, really, except what he's discovered since his undeath. So he can't really fill in any gaps for me. But there is, I suspect, a tunnel, some sort of secret passage out of the library, I think to some sort of dungeon.
And you want us to go in the dungeon?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not a dungeon. Maybe it's like a treasure vault or something. It could be anything down there. But a secret passage sounds fascinating, and I would really like to see it. But I can't find the door. Also, whoever ran this castle probably was doing had some relics, was doing some rituals. I'm pretty sure, based on the books I've found. So
Would that have been your husband?
maybe he can't tell me.
Can he tell you anything?
He tells
He
me he
talks.
looks.
He does.
That's good.
Well, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Let's rejoin this in the library. I think we need to sit and have a bit of a chit chat.
Right.
Would you like tea?
Uh,
I haven't hosted here before. You're my first guests.
yeah, she sounds
It
nice.
is an honor.
Sure.
Right. You can wait in the library. It's just up the stairs that you were headed up anyway.
Great.
And I'll head to the
Right.
kitchen.
Cool.
Lovely.
Okay.
I'm not drinking the tea.
Why not?
Don't drink the tea.
Okay.
Do you think it's dead tea? Or like undead tea?
What the fuck is undead tea?
How should I know? You're the one who's undead. You tell me.
I drink regular tea.
Yeah.
She might be smarter than us, honestly. I don't trust the tea.
No.
I don't trust the
There's no
library.
chance.
She's undoubtedly smarter than us.
No, there's no chance of that. Cool.
Obviously, none of us give a rat's arse about what the governor wants for his daughter.
No.
She's a free woman. She can do as she likes. However, there is potential gain to be had financially and perhaps spiritually from lifting the curse on this island, which would be perhaps in opposition to what Veronique hopes for in terms of her marriage perspectives. So,
I've got so many questions for her.
Yeah, I think for now we should just get some information, not make too many promises we're not yet trying to keep, but I'd like to know what she knows about the curse.
Right.
Here, here, Captain.
Right.
She's talking about a relic in a dungeon?
Yeah.
You enter this library. Big, fancy library. Got the library ladders and everything. Rows and rows and rows of books. Some still look in decent condition. It looks like this room, because it was intended as a library, is drier and darker in the hopes of preventing rot as much as possible. If you just sort of glance at what's on the shelves, you see A Sudden Flood, Wartime Apothecary, Principia Oceanus, Of Golden Blood, Republic of Water, Field Guide to Jungle Exploration. It's that sort of thing. Several old famous plays are there. There's Romero and Julia. There are
Comedy.
some comfortable chairs. There's a fireplace, though it is not lit. Parts of the library still seem quite grimy and dusty, and others seem like there's been an attempt to sort of wipe off the grime. Some of the books seem less dusty than others. I don't know if you just want to sit and wait for tea, if you want to look for that secret passage. What's your goal?
Well, I can't read.
Dandy, you can read.
What?
Dandy can read.
Right. Well, I'd like to look for a door. Oh, wait. You're really good at that, aren't you, Captain?
I
Looking for
can
trapdoors
hunt
and
some
such?
treasure and find and disarm It's true, I've been
Right.
known to...
I'm good at disabling traps, but not necessarily finding them.
I'm willing to take a look around the library, assuming that Veronique has mentioned that she's interested in us finding the secret door.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I can make a presence roll,
That sounds logical to me.
and the DR will be reduced by 3 because of the treasure hunter feature that I possess.
Okay. So that's a 9 DR.
Yeah, don't worry, I rolled a 6.
No.
Oh, no.
Do you have any luck? You could use the devil's luck.
Oh, I do have 1 point of luck. Well, if you said it was a 9.
Yeah,
So
it was a 9.
if I lower it by 4, it'll be a 5. Can I
Yep.
do that after I've rolled?
Sure.
Great. I do that.
Okay. You walk by it a couple times looking for a door before you notice sort of the pattern. Someone has walked repeatedly back and forth across a specific section of the library, like from the stairwell to this section, from the stairwell to this section. And the dust is quite disturbed around one book in particular, and that is Republic of Water.
Dandy, what's this say?
Water.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been my first guess for a secret book, doorway, trap, staircase thing. Republic of Water.
I try to pull it off the shelf.
You do, and there is a click as you pull the book out about an inch, and it stops before this entire bookcase sort of slides forward an inch,
Oh.
as if released onto some sort of track.
Maybe we should close it and wait for Veronique to come back and then, like,
Be
reveal.
all impressive about it.
Right.
That's good.
The
Oh, I like that.
actors.
Yeah.
All right, we
So
shoved the book
close
back.
it.
It's only a couple of minutes more before Veronique returns with a silver tray covered with a silver tea set, several cups. They look very brightly polished, although clearly like antique. She brings in the tea, sets it down. Do you take sugar?
Yes.
I'm
loads.
sorry, I don't have any milk.
That's all right. Just extra
Alright.
sugar.
That's fine. I have plenty of that. Much easier to transport sugar. And she pours you all tea and herself, and she sits down. Now, I'm convinced there is a door in this room, but I can't find it. So I don't know if maybe it's like a riddle or something, or
like when the clock strikes midnight, you have to
Yes,
like do a
something like
little
that would be
dance
very
in the
fun.
fireplace. Right, cool.
Might we back up a moment or two?
Yep.
Just, I wonder if we might ask the lady of the house about her husband.
Sure, what would you like to know?
So, well, I guess, I'm trying to be
you
delicate. There we go. How'd you meet, you two crazy kids?
Well, we met here. I had taken to the habit of sneaking out of my father's house for, a few hours at a time. I was going farther and farther, really just looking for nice places to paint away from the house. And eventually I got bold enough to travel all the way to this island, painted it a couple of times. I just thought it was so beautiful. And eventually I couldn't resist the temptation to cross the bridge. And there he was, just this ghost standing there, and he didn't do a thing. He just sort of stood there, and I suppose I should have been scared, but I really wasn't. So he wasn't speaking, and he wasn't bothering me at all. So I set up to paint. I painted various rooms in the house, and then he was it's this very calm, kind sort of presence. And he did eventually start speaking. He apparently hadn't in a while. He couldn't tell me the last time he'd spoken. And he didn't remember much except being a ghost and being sort of driven somehow to attack those who came to the castle looking for treasure. But I wasn't looking for treasure. I was looking to paint. And we talked for a while, and over a series of months, I suppose, might have been over a year, we fell in love as people do, and I just couldn't imagine spending my life anywhere else. I certainly couldn't stay where I was. So I concocted a plan, started sneaking things out of the manor every once in a while and bringing them here, and eventually I didn't see any reason to go back home, so I just stayed.
You brought all this stuff across that bridge?
Well, some of it's from the manor. I mean, this tea set's from the manor.
Sure, but very dangerous. That bridge is tricky.
Yes, I did reinforce it. I brought a bit of rope every once in a while, and I would sort of, reinforce the existing ropes, and that did seem to help quite a bit, but I wouldn't count on the wooden boards.
The planks, no. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Does anyone know about what it is you've been up to for the past year here?
I may have let slip to my maid that I had visited the castle once or twice, but I didn't want to tell her anything beyond that.
I don't mean to stoke your conscience, but she does miss you quite terribly, and she's worried for you.
Oh, poor girl. Maybe with enough time, as the Baron perhaps remembers who he was and feels less need to kill people, she could just come work for me.
Are you worried about anyone trying to lift the curse that keeps your bow sort of animate on this plane?
Maybe I should be worried, but it's been over 100 years and no one's any closer to finding the cause of the curse, let alone lifting it. So forgive me for not being overly concerned.
But you do know that he's the source of the curse, or
I don't know that at all. He doesn't even know that. No one knows that.
Right.
Maybe he's just another victim of the curse. All sorts of things come back to life here. Why wouldn't he?
Interesting.
So, shall we have an adventure? I really would like to see a secret passage.
I guess we could have a look around, see if we can
I don't even
find
know where we'd
anything.
begin to find a
Right.
secret. It could be anywhere.
Such a-
It's probably in the fireplace.
Could be the fireplace. I know a thing or two about treasure hunting, Veronique, and if I just had to trust sort of my pirate's gut, I would say that your secret passage is liable to be here.
Oh, Captain.
And I pull Republic of Waters out from the shelf.
Holy ghost. Didn't even occur to me to check the books.
It's a library. That's the whole point.
I
Don't you
I've been many
read?
places or done many things.
I try to look very smart.
It's her first
You?
treasure hunt, all right, mates? Cut her some
Of
slack.
course.
Oh,
Of course I read.
All right, well, open the door. Open the door.
I like wrench it forward off the shelf so that more of a gap appears. Is that kind of how it's working?
As you pull it, it does almost it appears to be on a hinge and can just swing open.
Great.
Right.
As you open this door, there is a narrow, steep, pitch black staircase with a very musty smell of like still seawater.
I light one of the candles from my bucket.
Nice. You are holding a single candle, and it does, considering how dark the stairwell is, if you step within, it does actually make a difference in that you can see the steps in front of you at least.
Here you are, love. Ladies first.
Really?
Not too far
Uh,
ahead.
Okay.
Well, you want to
Don't you
discover
want-
the treasure, don't you?
No, I do
your
want to come. I
castle?
just didn't realize that'd be first. All right. She takes the candle, and she looks a little scared, like this is more real than it was in her head.
Right.
But she slowly and carefully descends the stair. But she's looking back to make sure you're
Right.
not, I don't know,
yeah.
gonna push her or kill her or leave her or lock her in or.
We'll be right behind you.
Yeah, I assume her husband won't let her die. So,
Do we know? Wouldn't he be, in some ways,
Right.
happier if she were dead? I mean,
you know, Veronique, we're right behind you.
Okay, don't leave me. There isn't exactly
Right,
a
right, right.
handrail.
Sure.
one step at a time.
It is a long way down and a tight spiral staircase. You go down at least a couple floors.
Oh.
You come upon a large room. She sort of pauses, finally reaching the bottom, and you hear this like little intake of breath as she sees what's in front of her, and she says, I think you should take a look at this."
Right.
What is it?
Yeah.
As you step below, there is a door, but it's open. It's this heavy iron padlocked door that has just been left open at the bottom of the staircase. And you see within a large sort of cavernous chamber that looks like it might have been like a natural cave that was reinforced. There's a foot of water on the floor. It smells like rotten flesh, like a sort of a dirty water. And you see 8 natural carved pillars around the center of the room. On each one, a body hangs from manacles. They are not skeletal. Some are older than others, but none are ancient. The water, you notice now, is almost red with blood.
So it looks like they're fresh?
They do look fresh. And Veronique is almost backing up behind you now, trying to get behind you like it was fully not prepared for this.
Well, 8's not a prime number, so I think it's fine.
as you fully take in this room, you do see a sort of a very large ritual circle in the middle of the room, in the middle of these pillars, with a sort of drawing of a skeleton with a tongue sticking out.
In the center of them, you said?
In the center of the room. Big circle in the middle of the room, probably 10 feet across.
Mm-hmm.
That is when you hear a weak cough and a voice at one of the farther pillars. Remember, it's still very dark. You're lighting this with a candle. Mm-hmm. And you hear, help, 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 like through like the driest throat you've ever heard.
I'll light another candle and look for, are there like sconces on the wall or like a taller candelabra?
Actually, yeah, there are like torch sconces on several of the pillars that you can light.
Great. I'll light those.
Okay.
Illuminate
As
the room a little bit.
As the room comes into sort of dim light, you do see a very weak, thin figure in rags hanging from his wrists on like the far back pillar.
What's going on here?
Is she there? Is it her? Is it her? You hear, and then there is a loud creak and a sort of clang as a door closes behind you.
Oh no.
And locks with a snap.
No. Oh, Veronique got us.
You turn.
She was smarter.
No, it's not possible.
Veronique is standing there, still with your drippy little candle. She says, "You seem really curious about why I don't want to be in that house anymore." And she pulls down sort of the high neck of her dress, and you see an open wound across her neck, just a slit that looks to have been sort of stitched back together. It's a very clean cut. It looks to have been sort of stitched back together. On my 20th birthday, he didn't want me to grow up. He wanted me to be like him and live forever. He's been ruling that island a long time. You know, no one has noticed that he doesn't age.
Your father?
100 years, about, yeah.
Wait, your father? Or the Baron?
Oh, my father. The Baron didn't do this. He would never.
They're both dead, Zappy.
Well, so am I.
Wait, you're dead?
Well, undead. It wasn't my idea, was it? She almost... that's sort of like somewhere between like little girl and like weird persona she's been putting on is fully sort of melting off.
Yeah.
She seems older, though she still looks just as young. She seems angrier, and she seems much, much more sure of what she is doing.
But we still weren't going to take you back to your father. We have no... Why do this to us?
Do what? We're having a conversation. Now,
Right.
as much as I may not have chosen my current state, I can't say it wasn't the best thing that's ever happened to me. Who wouldn't want to be 20 forever? Now,
Good age.
I realize this is probably very overwhelming for you.
I'll say.
But look at the world we live in. Do you really want to fear death every day? Do you want to worry about what other people could do to you?
Did you do that? Should we be doing that?
I was confused as well. And then I found the wretched.
The wretched.
That's...
And they
I mean,
understood. They understood that this is the way. This is the way forward. The end of days is not the end of us. It is the end of fear and suffering.
Bringing back the great old ones is the path forward. Let life die and let undeath rise.
Right, but like if you die a second time, then you're like totally done, right?
Not if you know what you're doing. The Baron has died plenty of times. Some of the people who come here really do some damage. He just reforms, it's fine.
Doesn't that leave people open to cycles of endless abuse like the very same that you suffered at the hands of your father?
The strong don't. I'm stronger than him now. You know, he has been practicing necromancy for decades. And he just left his books lying around for a little girl to find. Smarter than him anyway. Better than he ever was.
That is bad parenting.
Well,
Sure. But like in undeath, you're never going to get to experience the joys of parenthood.
Do you want to bring a child into this world?
No, I certainly don't, but
See?
alright, well, she's got me there, lads.
She's using all kinds of words and logic. It's very distracting and confusing.
You're beginning to see the light. Should I say the dark? You're beginning to see the dark.
About us on the other side of the door. What can we do for you, lady?
I have business to conclude in this room. I would really love it if you wanted to be a part of that. And leave your lives behind. Never worry about where your soul may end up after. Never worry about where you'll find your next meal. Never worry about death. It'll be over and done with.
Captain kind of already has kind of a weird soul deal going on.
I'm worried if I stack more rules onto it, it'll all just fall over like a house of bloody cards.
Have you considered setting the rules on fire?
I don't think the rules are like a thing that he can...
I assumed we were speaking in metaphor. My mistake.
Sure.
Is this a scheme that will, whatever nonsense you're doing, the whole Caribbean, the whole world will be affected?
Oh, yes. Yes. Well, the Dark Caribbean to start, but Europe doesn't know what's coming.
I don't know, Veronique, if that's a choice you should be making for other people.
People make choices for other people all the time, every day. The strong make the choices. So I'm making one now. Are you going to help or are you going to hinder? You have 3 seconds.
While they were, all of that conversation was talking, could I have tried to get behind her and pickpocket her?
She is leaning
watching
against
us?
the door as
She is.
in a
Okay,
very
okay.
blasé, you can't bother me, I'm 20 sort of way.
Got it. Okay. Never mind.
I think this is sort of rubbing Hellion the wrong way.
Yeah, I'm not really keen on undeath.
More than anything, Veronique, you sound like a smart-mouthed bully who thinks she's smarter than everyone she meets.
Hey,
I would
Zappy,
love to meet someone smarter than myself.
Can
and
you
with
pick
that,
the door?
she pulls a dagger from her pocket
Yeah,
and
that's what
whips it at
No.
1, 2. Dandyshanks.
No.
However, it isn't whipped at you. You think for a moment it is going straight for your heart, and then it whizzes just over your shoulder, and you hear a choked grunt behind you as that last prisoner is stabbed right in the jugular and chokes on his own blood as it pours in 2 seconds from his body, flowing down into the water below. And it is at this moment that ritual circle in the center of the room begins to glow green.
Oh, Christ.
Could have joined, chose not to. Now you're just cannon fodder.
It's just all happening really fast.
A tentacle whips up out of the water from the
Okay.
center of the room, and there is a sort of crack, a deafening shatter as the floor itself sort of cracks open. Water begins pouring up into this room as another tentacle and another, until 5 tentacles are reaching up through this crack to who knows
crime.
where. Yeah, I did that on purpose. And are going to start whipping at you.
Oh. Okay. Right.
We're going to roll initiative. Who would like to roll the d6 this time? See if enemies or PCs go first.
I rolled for the ship combat. I think Dandy rolled
Okay.
for the vine combat.
I'll do it. 4.
White thumbs.
Okay, PCs go first. That's lucky. What do you do?
Is she standing in front of the door?
Yeah. She isn't leaned against it anymore. She's taken a couple steps forward.
I think I want to shoot her point blank with my musket. Okay. That is a presence test, I believe.
Yes.
Hey, that's just a flat 16. Is that enough to hit her?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
The musket
Hell
deals
yeah.
2d6 damage.
Oh my god.
Musket's real, goated. That's solid. That's 7 points.
Okay, I'm gonna roll.
awesome.
She has a sort of magical aura that lowers the damage. So I'm gonna roll a d4. It's 3 off. So what was it?
7 down to 4.
Still 4.
4 damage in a world where
That's not
I have
nothing,
2
yeah.
hit points. I double
Yeah.
killed me.
The fact that you are alive at this point in the story boggles the mind.
I want to. Is the door locked?
Probably.
Yeah, I
You
want to
wanna
go over
try
and
it?
try to. Yeah.
Okay, she doesn't even stop you.
Okay.
You just walk right up.
Hopefully
There
she's
isn't even a
little
door handle.
distracted.
There's just a keyhole, and there's not
Oh.
even anything to pull on.
Oh, and it opens inward. I have lockpicks. Can I try to pick? Wait, can I try to put my key in it first, and then if that doesn't work, put my lockpicks in, or is that too much?
Yeah. We're gonna do
This
something
could
here.
be it.
Yeah.
Because I love the idea of it being the key, but it seems extremely unlikely. So I want us to roll. If you roll a d20 and you get a 20,
Yeah.
it's the key.
Nat 20. No problem. It's the
Special
key.
eel key.
Easy.
It's a 6.
No.
It's not the key. It's not the key. Okay, then I'd like to try to pick the lock.
Yep. Go for it.
Great. My burglar ability allows me to subtract 4 from the DR.
Great. The DRA is 18. So it's now 14.
With a -4? Oh, okay. Woo. Okay, so we're going to say agility.
It's like a 50-50 chance.
19 on the die for 24.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, the door's open. I'm going to say that's your whole turn.
Great, that's fine.
As you sort of click the lock open, it pops towards you.
Right. I'm going to stand in the doorway and make sure she doesn't close it again, I guess.
That fucked so many of my plans.
Come on, lads! We're round 3! We can outrun a fucking ghost!
So she's kind of in front of the door? Is that the situation?
Yeah, she has now turned to Zappy because she assumed you wouldn't be able to do that. And then you did, and she is regretting some choices she made.
Is she like a little shot?
For her, that was not a ton of damage. But
Yeah.
you did get her in the shoulder. Assuming you were aiming for the heart, you got her in like the upper left shoulder and tore some muscle. And she is sort of holding it, and you see sort of a dribble of like black gunk. But she doesn't seem like she's been, stopped.
Sure. Yeah, I would say run for it. We're not taking. Are we taking on these tentacles? Like, so now we know the governor's a necromancer.
Yeah.
We know a bit more about the curse. It can get the priest onto that, but even that's all above our pay grade. But our ship's busted. How are we going to get out of here? Steal a second slutty sloop?
A sluttier sloop.
As she sees you clearly attempting escape, she's going to yell, "Are you going to run back to my father, the man who caused this problem in the first place? Are you going to tattle to Daddy?"
No, we're gonna kill him.
I would actually rather you didn't.
Why?
And that is when she is going to turn to the tentacles and start speaking in a very hissy, guttural language you don't recognize, with her arms sort of
Can
outstretched.
Dandy kind of shove her out of the way and into the water?
Yeah.
I mean, we go first.
Make a strength check.
Come on, Dandy.
Yeah. Oh, I got a 1.
No! You could use a lot.
Oh, I should do that. Thank you, my wifeums.
Your other choice is to slip and fall.
Slip and fall and die.
The water is up to your knees, by the way.
Oh!
Okay, then I'll reroll. Might as well.
Okay.
What is it? God damn it, I got a 3.
New dice.
You attempt to shove her. She is weirdly strong and fully just ignores you, pushing on her shoulder as she continues full, intense focus on these tentacles. However, as she's reaching out her hand, it's like she's expecting something to happen, and it doesn't happen. And she tries again, and she's getting more intense, and she's speaking to these tentacles, and they're just whipping wildly, and then one whips out and cracks her across the face. And you see this look of complete shock. And this is the first time she really does look like a kid who is in way over her head. So she's holding her cheek, trying to look like she's still in control of this situation, but you see fear on her face.
Still think you're the smartest thing in the Caribbean, do ya?
Let's all just get out of here. Let's just leave the mean tentacles, slappy tentacles.
Speaking of, it's the
How many
tentacles.
tentacles are there? How many tentacles are there?
5.
No!
A full hand.
We've got to get out of here!
I'm going to say this tentacle reaches out and it is going to take an attack at... Zappy's over by the door. Dandyshanks is by our little lady. Hellion, where are you?
I probably shot her and then just started moving towards the door as well.
Okay, in that case, you might be the closest to the tentacles, so they're gonna whip at you. Sorry, buddy.
No!
Sure.
Not the face.
There's a chance it won't kill you. Let's see.
Oh my god. No!
No.
Uh-oh. So that's a 16, so it does hit, but it's only a d4. So I suppose that doesn't help you. Captain! You might not die.
There's other things that can happen when I go to 0 hit points.
I rolled a 1.
Hey!
Captain! Captain Amish Hellion Anthem survives!
Legend.
I'd say it cracks you across the back, and you feel your rib cage, where one rib is missing, collapse just a little bit, and you have a couple of pretty severely cracked ribs.
Right, lads, head on, head on.
It is at this point that you see a black cloud starting to spread through this water, as if the red is turning black, centered on these tentacles.
Oh god.
Everyone who's currently standing in the water, which is everyone, needs to make a roll 2d6 and add your spirit.
Come on. 9 for me.
Okay.
7.
Okay.
1.
Shit.
No.
And it had to be you.
No.
Zappy and Dandyshanks, you are overcome with the strongest melancholy you've ever felt in your life. It is like the worst wave of depression to ever hit a person in a split second. You can barely remember what you were doing, let alone why you would bother. Hellion, you feel the same, but have a pretty intense need to not feel it. And it is pushed outward into a destructive act. Do you want to roll a d4 for me? 1, 2 is Zappy, and 3, 4 is Dandyshanks.
I rolled a 4.
Okay, well, you're gonna take a strike at Dandyshanks.
No.
Do you have a melee weapon in your hand, or is it just a gun in your hand?
Just the musket.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna ask you to shoot Dandyshanks. I'm gonna ask you to punch Dandyshanks,
Okay.
which I guess is just a strength check.
I don't think you have too much to worry about, friend. That's a 5.
You miss.
Captain.
Okay.
Why?
What the hell are you doing?
Sorry, you just looked really punchable. Something
Well-
about the light and the... I don't know. Sorry.
Cried. Sad face.
Whatever color was in Veronique's face has fully faded. You see tears streaming down her face, and she's almost muttering under her breath, I can't go back, I can't go back, I can't go back, I can't. As she's backing up to the open door like she might run.
Oh, I'm blocking the doorway.
Can we go out of the door and shut it on her?
Yeah.
You can try.
Yeah, I mean, that was my plan. Was that not the plan? Wow, I'm waiting for... I mean, are they coming? Or are they, like, stuck where they are?
The tentacles are quite long. They definitely reach the door, but you don't see them, like, moving through
Right.
the space.
Can...
I'm just trying to get out of here.
Water's
with
up to your
Zappy.
waist.
Yeah, don't want to be
Right.
here.
No. Can we run? Let's go.
You can try. I am going to say the tentacles are going to make an attempt at least one of you, and Veronique
Right.
will try to stop you from leaving her behind.
Right.
So...
We're gonna leave 1,000 silver behind.
No, we're gonna kill him and take his silver.
A lot of work, though.
It's less work than dying.
What do our husband think?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I'm going to roll a d6 to see who the tentacle goes for as you attempt to flee. So 1, 2 is Zappy, 3, 4 is Dandyshanks, and 5, 6 is Hellion.
I thought a 6 was Veronique. Okay.
Why wouldn't she be in the running? That's super fair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to
Yeah.
forget that. I'm going to roll a d8. 7, 8 is Veronique.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 7.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, wow. Okay, the two problems cancel each other out. As she attempts, as Estella, she is much stronger than she appears, probably through necromantic means. As she attempts to almost like slam the door shut in front of you, like if she's not leaving, no one's leaving. This tentacle comes out from behind her and grabs her around the neck, pressing into that open, never healing wound, and she gurgles a scream as it wrenches her back.
Oh,
You can leave.
I'd call that a poetic ending. Yeah. Click the door behind us. Up the stairs.
Yeah, as you go up these flights of stairs, at the top you do encounter a ghost
Ah.
of a bear.
Not you two.
Looking
on, man.
somber, heartbroken, furious, and you only see this ghost for a split second. As the window behind him, you see sunlight just drop behind the sea. And he
Tentacles
turns
did it.
into a 10-foot glowing armored skeleton holding a giant sword.
Down that way,
And
mate.
then as
You gotta.
he rushes for you,
Ah.
he rushes past you and drops through the floor faster
yeah,
than the stairs
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do
yeah.
whatever he's gonna do.
Right.
Let's go.
Right. Just real quick, Dandy, do you think there are any books here worth taking? Because this is all going to flood and, like, crash into the ocean, I'd bet.
I mean, Republic of Water, probably sell it to priests first, blah, 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 blah.
Great.
Handful of other
I'll just
books.
grab an armful of books. I don't know what they are.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
There's a
Fancier
silver
the better.
piece that is probably worth something. Veronic's paintings are probably worth something, but you
You can
have
carry a
not
painting.
a lot of time.
Right. No.
Yeah.
That's just an armful and...
Stuff it in your
fucking
pants, Zappy.
Oh, yeah. Right down
Stuff it in your
my
pants.
pants. Yeah.
You rush out. You do hear rumbling, screaming, otherworldly
Can I take the tea set
screeches.
on the way out?
Sure. It's full of tea, but if you're not afraid of getting a little burned. So, Zappy has pants full of books and a tea set.
I've wet the books.
Ragged
Yeah.
pants.
Yeah, I've wet the books with the tea on accident.
I'm gonna say you rush right across the bridge.
Yeah. So we're going straight to the church, right? I'll give the
Telling
father,
the father what we know.
yeah, the bag of thumb bones.
Sure.
The one
To remember
book.
us by.
We'll sell the rest, yeah. I'll keep one.
You go speak with Father Wallace as quickly as possible. He's shocked, but not at all disbelieving that the governor is what he is. He says, I've been on this island for a long time. There was obviously something very wrong with that man. I'm disappointed, but not surprised.
Yeah.
Now, I appreciate the information. I'd love to take a look at those books, but I won't stop you from getting your silver for them. If I think there's one or two I'd like to keep, I will pay them for you, and then I recommend you go speak with Helga. She runs a healthy trade and is a good port of call for getting some silver for some nice items.
Does the ship right?
Yeah, she knows everyone. She is the port of call for all the ships, and she often will
incredible.
barter if you have nice items. She'll fix your boat.
We could have bartered from the start.
Did you
That was the
have
first thing we
something
tried. We
worth
didn't have
300
I've got a
anything.
lovely key. Look at this key. Do you have any boxes that might match this key?
Okay, we gotta go, Zappy.
Right, okay. Of course.
Someday, Zappy.
He looks at the key and his eyes widen a little bit. And you say, I think you need to head to Havana. Ask for Father Alvarez. I think he'll know what to do.
Oh my god.
Now,
Thank you, Father.
we have a lot to
Wallace.
do here, and I have a feeling you'd like to get out of town.
Be seeing you,
Yeah.
or maybe not. Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah. Get a good one in for me.
Yeah.
Spare the girl's maid. She was nice.
Oh yeah. Sophie's real nice. She could be a man on the inside. Your maid on
I
the
have a
inside.
suspicion some of the servants who have been there for quite a while, probably not a young maid, but some of the servants who have been there for quite a while are perhaps no longer among the living.
Wait, you think Sophie?
Not so.
No.
I don't know Sophie. I suppose
Alright,
if it's a young girl who's only been there for a year or two, probably not.
Okay.
But I
Right.
have suspicions about the doorman. Now,
Oh, I knew it. I knew he was.
yeah,
undead.
you rolled really bad.
I did. I fucking knew it. You're not dead, are you, Father?
Yeah.
He feels his pulse. I check every morning, just because
Smart.
I get a little
Good
worried.
We should start
sometimes.
doing
You
that.
and me both, eh?
He sort
Alright.
of pat Hellion on the shoulder and says,
I don't know what your path is going to be, but I feel where you were is perhaps not where you're headed.
I'm holding you to that.
Now, I recommend you get off this island.
Right.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Father. Skeleton, only 10 feet. Is a
yeah.
skeleton 10 feet,
Oh.
not 30, 10.
Right.
Manageable.
And also
That is
potentially dead,
It's
like
better.
full dead, because it's fighting like the manifestation of the Great Old One, which had 5 tentacles, which is, about as bad as it can get.
What a
We don't
strange
do
number
5.
of tentacles. It's almost like someone picked that number because it would bother you.
No. What? It doesn't bother me. It's cursed. Those are different.
It is not actually very much longer until your ship is repaired and you are casting off.
Can I try and get that feather off of maybe do a tradesy sneaky feather situation with that
Pushing your
lovely
luck.
hat or ship.
You
right?
present these books and a silver tea set to Helga, who is happy to receive them. This will more than pay for the boat. Is there anything else I could supply the boat for you if you'd like? Just stock it up.
Sure. That would be great. Some lemons, some
Sure.
jerky.
I got a nice batch of mangoes in from the other side of the island. Do you like mangoes? I'll throw in a few of those.
Oh,
We've had just such a charming time in your lovely town. To commemorate this exchange, how about we have an exchange of maybe feathers, perhaps?
She does genuinely laugh, and then she says,
Lovely, lovely.
"We have all sorts of peacocks on the island. I don't see why I couldn't just find another one here. Just keep your silly feather and take this one too."
your generosity will be remembered across the Caribbean.
Suppose so.
Aye, lady.
You are lucky enough to just be casting off as the angry yells of a mob can just start to be heard coming from the other side of town. You see the faint flicker of torchlight glinting off of pitchforks as you set sail beyond.
Beautiful.
Zappy, as you're looking at these supplies that Helga has outfitted the ship with, there is also a trunk amongst mostly like barrels and bags. Not fancy, not locked, but if you flip it open, clothes. Several simple sailor's outfits, including not big and fancy, but a couple of hats.
Oh my
Bounty.
Hellion, if you're interested in clothes that aren't rags, there's plenty.
I will be changing immediately.
Yeah, Helga maybe noticed and thought she'd just throw in a couple of outfits.
Wow. I put on a clean
Generous
shirt
lady.
and then my raggedy vest back over the clean shirt.
Nice.
Oh, it's almost like our marriage day again. Zappy, you look gorgeous.
Close. Yeah. We'll find some white pants for me.
We pull away from the slutty little sloop, skipping over the waves, headed towards Havana. Just a couple days past the horizon, as the fire of a town in turmoil lights the sky beyond.
Just the way I like to leave a town. Fire and turmoil.
And that is where we will end this pirate adventure.
Yarr!